Welcome to Life of Lady Di. Subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget to turn on that notification for more wonderful, encouraging content. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making conch. It usually comes in a 5-pound box, frozen. In the States, it's very difficult to get it fresh. And so here I have it in some citrus and vinegar water. As you can see, it's already cleaned extremely well. So that takes a lot of stress out from preparing this meat. So after you drain all the water out, we're going to add our seasoning. So we're going to add our saison, chopped garlic, 2 bouillon cubes, parsley, dried herbs like rosemary, oregano. And so you're going to mix that up really well. And then we're going to add it to our pressure cooker and we're going to cook it for about 2 hours. And here it is after 2 hours. Look at that beautiful, delicious broth. We're going to be using this broth to make our sauce for our conch. So I just want to show you, we want to cut the conch against the grain. So as you can see where the grain is, we're going to cut against the grain. And so usually I have to split it in half in order for me to do that, because one half the grain is going one way, the other half the grain is going the other way. You're going to cut them into about 2-inch pieces, just like that, and about ½ an inch thick. All right, so we're going to do that for all of the conch. And this is what I mean. I usually have to cut off that piece, turn it, and this one I'll cut into about 2 to 3 pieces depending upon the size. And then that flatter piece, we're going to cut it against the grain like that. So you want to cut all of your conch. So I'm speeding it up for you guys. So a little bit about conch. So in the Caribbean islands, you'll hear conch, you'll also hear sea snail, and you'll hear lambi. It is all the same thing. So lambi is what we call it in Haitian Creole. Conch and sea snail, you'll hear that in like the Caribbean islands, like the Bahamas. All right, so you want to cut all of your meat after it's cooked for 2 hours. And then we're going to slow cook it stovetop to create that sauce that we want for our stewed conch. Also with this meat, if you wanted to help cut down on cooking time, instead of leaving it whole, you could have already cut it up into these smaller pieces prior to pressure cooking it for the 2 hours. So I already have some bell peppers, orange and red bell peppers with some sliced onions. We're going to need tomato paste as well. And you're gonna need your oil of choice. I use olive oil, and then the broth that you made from your conch. We're going to fry our tomato paste. Be careful because it pops like it just did on me, and it is hot, okay? You do not want to get that on you. So just be careful, turn your heat down if you need to. I had to back up for a second because I was like, devil is a lie. I am not trying to have burn marks. And so anyway, add your, if you notice that it's too hot, do like I just did, add your bell peppers, add your onions, that'll cool your pan down, and then turn your heat down, okay? We're not trying to go to the hospital just from browning and caramelizing some tomato paste. So we do not need that in our lives. So you're gonna mix that up really, really well. And you're gonna let that cook for a few minutes. What we're doing is developing flavor. So we want to caramelize that tomato paste and slightly caramelize the onions and bell peppers. I just added a tablespoon of chopped garlic, mix that up really well. Just like that. And we're going to let that cook for a little bit. Again, I want to cook the onions and the bell peppers and the garlic and the tomato paste. So that way, as we're developing our sauce for our stewed conch, lambi, sea snail, whichever one you prefer to call it, they are all the same. We can have a really packed full of flavor dish. So mix that up. Remember to scrape the bottom. If you notice that your pan is too hot, turn the heat down. There's no reason to burn your food. Or move your pan off the heat for a second. Let it cool down a bit. I never understand why people let it sit on the heat. Just move it off the heat real quick. Obviously, be careful. Don't burn yourself. We're going to now add the cut up conch. And what you want to do is mix the conch. So what we're doing is not really browning, I would say, but we're trying to get all of the flavors of the tomato paste, the garlic, the onions, the bell peppers incorporated with the conch, and just almost caramelizing that all together. So we're going to do that for a couple minutes until the conch has developed a nice color. Now you're going to add the broth from the conch that was in your pressure cooker. You're going to add that to the pot. And then you're going to mix it really well. And then you're going to let that cook on medium to high heat. Make sure you're scraping the bottom, okay, so that way nothing is getting stuck at the bottom of your pan. This is going to be absolutely delicious. Now, if you love really, really spicy food, you can add a habanero pepper. If you like whatever your favorite hot pepper is, you can add it at that time. So here it is a few minutes later, about 5 to 10 minutes later. As you can see, it's darkened up more, and we want this to reduce. Okay, so I am going to add this peri peri sauce. It's a medium heat. We love heat, but we don't want to, burn our mouths either and destroy our taste buds in my household. So we tolerate heat, but not to the point of no return. Mix that up really well. Be careful because it is extremely hot. Again, turn your heat down if you need to. This is not a dish that you're going to rush to make. All right, so the conch is already pretty tender once it comes out of the pressure cooker, but we're going to allow this sauce to develop and really penetrate deep into the meat. And you'll see how the meat continues to change color as it absorbs all of that beautiful sauce. So you're going to turn your heat down to medium and you're going to cover your pan. So now we're going to make some basic white rice. Water, oil, garlic powder, bouillon cubes. Very, very simple. Just checking on the conch, mix that up. As you can see, the sauce is getting thicker and looking more and more luxurious and beautiful. And it is definitely getting more and more concentrated. And you can see the color on that meat is also becoming more concentrated versus the middle where it was still looking a bit pale. So mix that up really well, cover that back up, and let it do its thing. So we're checking on our rice. We're going to add a tablespoon of butter. This is optional. Usually when I'm making just plain white rice, that's what I'll do. Plain old butter, whatever butter you like, it doesn't matter. And we're gonna let that come to a boil. So here's a secret. When adding rice, if you don't wanna have to measure it by the cup, watch what I'm doing here. You pour the rice in until it makes a little mound. Just like that, you'll see that. And that's how you know you have the right amount of rice. You just have to pour it in the center. And that's it. You don't have to use a measuring cup. I use pre-washed jasmine rice, and it's fully enriched, so I don't have to wash it or whatever. But some packages you really do got to wash, so it just depends on what you're purchasing. I like the fragrant jasmine rice, and sometimes I use basmati, just depends on how I feel. My heat is on medium high right now because I don't want to burn the bottom. And what I'm waiting for is for that water to continue to reduce and get more concentrated, and occasionally stirring, making sure I am scraping the bottom of the pan. As you can see, it's starting to rapidly simmer or boil there. Be very careful. You can burn yourself because those little pockets of air from the heat, it's hot and it'll splash on you. So be very, very careful as you continue to stir the pot. Now, when you see that the bubbles on the surface have broken, and this is me mixing it right here, and you see you have this much liquid left, turn it all the way down to low, cover it, leave it alone, don't uncover it for another 15 to 20 minutes. You will have perfect rice every time, I promise you. Stick with me, rice will be so easy, it will not be complicated at all. So now we're checking our lambi. Look at how, look at that. That looks so delicious. And as you can see, the sauce has thickened up some more. It's becoming more concentrated. The meat is developing a beautiful, rich color. It just looks so appetizing. You will love, love, love making stewed conch. If you've never had it before, there's so many different ways to enjoy conch or lambi, sea snail, whatever you want to call it. This is one of the ways that we do it in the Haitian culture. So this particular dish is not a dish that we eat often. It's more like for holidays or special occasion because conch is so expensive. So here I'm just checking with the spoon to see how thick the sauce is. And I want it to coat my spoon, but I don't want it super thick. So I'm just checking to see if I like the thickness. All right, I think I'm gonna let it thicken up some more. And so now, stirring it up a few minutes later, about 15 to 20 minutes later, and I think this is looking like it's ready. Yeah, I am ready to eat and serve my family this delicious dish that I learned from my mom and my dad. All right, let's do the fork test. Let's see how tender this is. Oh yeah, we are in it to win it. Look at how beautiful that looks. I can't wait for you guys to try this. All right, let's check on our rice. Boom, what'd I tell you? Perfect rice every time. Listen, if you want to argue with someone about how to cook rice, go argue with your mama or your family or whoever is teaching you how to cook rice improperly. But Haitians, when I tell you, we are the kings and queens of making rice. We are the experts of making rice. Look at how beautiful this rice is. Every grain is perfect. It's tender, it's not mushy, it's not hard. This is how rice is made, all right? And it was so easy. I didn't use a measuring cup. I showed you a simple technique. Try it out. If you have questions, put it in the comments. If you have any advice or maybe you think I should do something different, go off in the comments, let me know. But here it is, white rice with stewed conch. I cannot wait for you guys to try this. Let me know what you think. And, subscribe if you haven't already. Like, share, tell your friends, watch this video again. You can get conch from your local fish market. Most likely you will not find it at a supermarket. So you need to go to your fisherman's market and you're gonna ask them for that 5-pound box. It's cheaper to do it that way and you'll get way more for your dollar. They also usually sell it in small packages. And again, it'll come frozen. So this 5-pound box I purchased for $50 at my fisherman's market. In some places I've heard that it's even way more like $100. So here I am. I love to make food and share with the people I love. And so I am packing a plate for my mommy. She literally lives across the street from me. She bought her house and then I was like, ooh, and I bought my house next to her. So anyway, have fun. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you again soon.